Google Ads method. I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place. If you're tired of relying on social media for leads and you want a more consistent way to attract inquiries and not stressing about the algorithm, right? All of us hate the algorithm. You've tried Google Ads before, but maybe you were overwhelmed or they didn't work, and you want, to get that return on investment for paid ads.
Yeah.
And
Google
uh,
is the one that's on Waller.
and then you want a reliable way to reach clients who are actively searching for you and your services, so you can stop hustling for every booking and posting in Facebook groups and all that stuff and start attracting couples that are searching on Google. So during this masterclass, you'll learn the top 3 mistakes photographers make when trying to run Google Ads. You're going to hear some real success stories. I have those peppered in throughout, and my 5-step framework for running Google Ads. So while I'm doing the intro, I also want you guys to look up what your website visitors are each month. If you have Google Analytics set up, if you don't know, then just put in the chat that you don't know, but I would like to see what everybody's website visitors are. So if you can figure that out while I'm kind of doing my little intro. But if you don't know me, I'm Megan. I'm an elopement photographer who turned into a business coach, and I really like helping people build 6-figure businesses without being chained to social media. And I got my start as like a wedding and elopement photographer while I was working as an emergency veterinarian. But then I transitioned to photography full time, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever done. And so I'm also very I just love helping people quit their jobs and doing photography full time. So this is me as a veterinarian. And then, yeah, I got my start booking weddings in Colorado, and then I transitioned exclusively to elopements, but Google Ads helps photographers in every niche. We've even had like family photographers do great, but like it really helps for elopement and wedding photographers. So when I first started coaching photographers in 2020 during like the pandemic, I wanted to help them book more clients fast, but Instagram really changed during that time. So like the old ways of kind of just like posting on Instagram and getting clients like really disappeared. And then SEO and Pinterest take a okay. So yeah, I needed to figure out a way to help people get inquiries and bookings really quickly. Since Instagram was different. And I wanted to just show you how Instagram changed back in 2020. So like red were my inquiries with Instagram and green is my inquiries with Google. And I used to get like tons of Instagram inquiries, sometimes even 10 or 11 a month. And then when they brought out Reels and started like competing with TikTok, then that kind of changed. And you see a spike here in Instagram inquiries, but that was because of my coaching business. I had my CRM combined with my elopement photography business. But if you look over here, even when I was like, I hired a social media manager to like do everything perfectly on Instagram, and I still was getting like 0 to 4 max inquiries a month, and that's just not enough to like sustain a 6-figure business. So thank God I had all these Google inquiries from SEO, but SEO can take months to sometimes years. Like it took me years to get on the front page of Google for like Colorado elopement photography, but you can get on the front page of Google with ads like the same day, right? So Google is where I get the majority of my inquiries. Like 80% of my inquiries come from Google, and that's what I see as the same for like really successful photographers. So we needed something that was easy, straightforward, and would get us on the front page of Google. So that's when we started playing around with Google Ads in 2021. And since then, we've been kind of refining this process, changing as each year changes because marketing always changes. And we finally landed on a strategy that works consistently with Google Ads. So that was really cool. So creating this Google Ads strategy and teaching it to others has helped my photography clients totally change their lives, transform their businesses. They're no longer scrambling for inquiries or stressing over the algorithm. They're not posting in Facebook groups, hoping a couple picks them out of the hundreds of comments they got. They're not relying on things that are really kind of inconsistent, which is super cool. And yeah, and they're booking clients who are ready to invest in their services because I found that the couples that are kind of searching through Google and inquiring from photographers they find on Google are often like they're really happy to invest. Um, so while I mainly work with elopement and wedding photographers, this strategy can work for anyone. So I just want to mention that. And I would also like to know what your website traffic looks like. Um, cool. Did I freeze? So Kat has 73. Oops. Mhm. Ooh, 2000 is amazing, McKinley. Good job. Kat says 73. That's definitely what I call like the struggle bus territory. So let's get back to the, if anybody else wants to post their website traffic, that would be awesome because what I'm going to say next is the number one predictor of your success is not followers, it's not likes, it's not reels, it's your website traffic. So if your website traffic is in the low hundreds, like you are going to be on the struggle bus. So let's see. Juliana got 2000. Awesome. Perfect. So if no one is landing on your site, and Juliana's killing it, so 2000 is amazing. No one's landing on your website, no one is reading your copy, no one is filling out your inquiry form, and no one is booking. And somebody who has a lot of traffic doesn't have people filling out their inquiry form. So I'm going to talk about that towards the end. Visibility is really what creates opportunity, and traffic is what creates inquiries. When we are what's the word? When we are like looking at like a graph of people with their website traffic and their number of inquiries and their number of bookings, they all go up at the same time. So the more traffic you have, the more inquiries you have, the more bookings you'll have. And then the more income you'll have, you know, and that's really what I want all this to be about, is about being profitable. So that's why Google ads work, because they get your business in front of the right people on purpose. And real quick, I want to talk about Cheryl's story. If you signed up and got my little welcome email, it had a link to Cheryl's podcast episode. And Cheryl was somebody who's actually kind of doing well on Instagram. She was booking quite a few destination elopements through her efforts on Instagram. And but then she had a health scare and she was in the hospital, and she was grieving, and she couldn't post on social media anymore, and then her business just tanked. So I don't want our marketing to be dependent on our energy like that, and like on our engagement and having to keep up this hustle all the time. So once Cheryl kind of switched over to relying on Google ads and SEO, now she gets to like sit back and relax and post on Instagram just when she's happy to do so, and she still gets the bookings rolling in, and it's not dependent on her health and whether or not she's on vacation and stuff like that. She can just relax and still get inquiries and bookings. So there's three big mistakes I see photographers doing with Google ads. And let me check the chat real quick. Okay, Jason has, let's see, 25. Yeah, so that's not, oh, that's the last 7 days. So if we multiply that by 4, that's still not enough, because that's just like 100 a month. And then, yeah, let's see. So 3 big mistakes. Mistake number 1 is being afraid to run paid ads. This is really a pay to play universe that we're in right now. And it's really hard to get in front of people organically without having to do that like all consuming as far as your energy and time goes. So photographers are worried about the cost. It might seem complicated and intimidating. There's this fear of wasting money if they don't work immediately. And I totally get it. Like that is a super common belief to have, that like it's really scary. But when done right, they can be your most consistent and reliable source of bookings. So I have some, screenshots here that, one of my clients booked 18 elopements in 3.5 months, and she was managed to raise her prices the whole time. I had another client who had got 3 inquiries from Google in the last 24 hours. If you told me I'd be waking up to inquiries daily, I wouldn't have believed you. I got 2 more inquiries from Google Ads, making it 5 in less than a week. So these are like it can be life-changing. So, and again, ads bring in inquiries without like this constant effort. Where you're not like trolling Facebook groups, you're not posting giveaways or social media posts all the time. And like social media is still an important part of this, but like it's not something where we need to figure out the algorithm and like spend all of our time on Instagram. So your inquiries are no longer tied to your energy. They keep running if you're sick, if you're on vacation. I even have people who haven't posted an Instagram in months, but because they have such great content already on there that's kind of bingeable, um, they do great. And they still get inquiries and bookings even though they haven't posted on in Instagram for weeks or months. So consistent leads from people who are actively searching for your services and not just scrolling by. That's what we want Google Ads for. And the best part with Google Ads is, again, it's like having like a 24/7 assistant bringing clients to you, putting you in front of people so that they know that you exist, so you can take breaks, recharge, travel, edit, whatever you need to do, and you can still see results. So mistake number 2 is listening to Google Ads experts. They don't always know what they're talking about, especially when it comes to photographers. So one of the things that we've had to learn the hard way over the years of kind of like testing Google Ads is that the Google Ads experts oftentimes make us change things in our Google ad that don't work for us. So they suggest strategies that push broader keywords or settings that don't work for us. And so we need like a very specific targeted approach that's not like based on e-commerce sales or something like that. We want the people that are searching specifically for photographers. So they often, these reps with Google, when you start your ad, they're going to try to get on a phone call with you. They're going to be emailing you. They're going to be annoying you to talk to you, and they will drain your budget with really low quality keywords. They'll have you attracting the wrong audience. They'll have you change settings that work for e-commerce, not for photographers. And they just like endlessly tell you to increase your budget instead of like trying to figure out, how to work within your budget. So another success story I have is Natasha, who moved from New York to Washington State, and she basically had a very successful wedding photography business in New York, but she wanted to switch to elopements in Washington, and she wanted to get bookings quickly. And so she hired me, and she booked 120K that year in elopements in Washington, even though she's brand new there. So these things can work pretty quickly. It's not something that like takes a long time to work necessarily, although I will go into mistake number 3, which is not letting them run long enough. And this is another mistake we commonly see where people run a Google ad maybe for a month, don't see a ton of results for a myriad of reasons, and then claim Google ads don't work. And you can have success like immediately sometimes. Like it's not like you can't have it. Like I have plenty of examples of people with like, 3 days with Google ads up and running and they've booked an elopement for next month. And this person had their, Google ads running for 12 days and booked an $8,000 wedding and had 5 inquiries after having nothing for months. So it can work quickly, but it doesn't all the time. So what I want everybody to do is to give your Google ads at least 3 months to work. There is a learning period where Google is figuring out, who to show it to and when and what headlines and descriptions to use. So there's like this learning period, but then also our ideal clients don't necessarily like Google a photographer and then make a snap decision right away to hire you. Sometimes they really take a while to inquire you and decide that you're the right photographer for them. Sometimes they're not even engaged yet, but it's coming up, so sometimes people just aren't inquiring with the first person they see. They're taking their time, and those are great clients. Those are the clients who are ready to invest in photography that take their time. So I've also seen situations where in that first month, sometimes people might get just like price shopper or price haggler people at first, because those are the kinds of people that will, Google somebody really quick and fire off a contact form really quickly. So I also want to show Kiera, who is one of my clients. She's a brand new elopement photographer in Arizona. She started running her Google Ads a few months ago, and you can see that April, she booked $4,000 worth of elopements. May, she booked $9,000 worth of elopements, and then June here, after kind of troubleshooting some things, raising prices, getting better at sales calls, and stuff like that, she booked 20K. So kind of like sticking with it and improving things over time, not just with your ad, but how you're booking and selling to people is really important. And then increasing those prices as well. So, my Google Ads method is a 5-step strategy. I've been refining it since 2021 with the help of hundreds of photographers. And the strategy is built to get in front of couples who are ready to book you. They are actively searching for such and such wedding photographer, such and such elopement photographer. You're running ads on purpose, with very, with your ideal client in mind. You're not just guessing and throwing things out there. You're not just hoping that things work anymore. And creating clarity around your numbers so you can grow more strategically, which I'm going to talk about as I go through the framework. So the 5-step framework is identify, attract, launch, refine, and funnel. And I'll go over what each of these mean. So step 1 is identify. And that's about understanding who you want to reach and how they're searching for services like yours. So the first step in marketing is always identifying exactly who you want to work with. We don't want to work with price hagglers. We don't want to work with somebody who is searching for a newborn photographer if we're a wedding photographer, so like getting in the mind of our ideal client and kind of figuring out what specific words and phrases are they typing into Google, because those searches are what you're going to use as your keywords. So without a clear picture of who you're trying to attract, you can target the wrong keywords. You don't want to just put destination elopement photographer in there. You want it to be more location based, or, if you're a wedding photographer, you probably want to include locations or venues and stuff like that. So knowing who exactly you are trying to target and what they're searching for is the first step. And the good news is your ideal couples are searching for you on Google. If you look at Google search trends, they're always going up. So the more you can show up on Google, the better. And again, be specific with your keywords, because one of the biggest mistakes I see people making as well, is switching more to broad keywords when we really should be using specific, location-specific stuff. And you can use as many keywords as you want, which is pretty cool. So here's some more screenshots where somebody got her first Yosemite booking from Google, and the console call was easy. Google is the GOAT, greatest of all time, if you don't know what that means. And then this person booked an absolute dream elopement and they came from Google. So so the dream couples are all on Google, I swear. And then step 2 is attract. So once you've identified the right keywords and your ideal client, you want to make sure your website, or specifically the landing page you're sending them to with your ad, does a lot of the heavy lifting as far as kind of like selling your services. That's how you really attract the right couples. So it's all about turning those clicks from your Google ads into real inquiries. This is where a lot of people can get frustrated too. If your landing page doesn't provide that instant connection with your couples and kind of like build trust and get them to reach out, then this is where people might say, oh, my Google ads aren't working, when really it's more about your landing page. So when someone clicks on your ad, they're interested, and now it's your website's turn to sell. Again, this is all stuff kind of going on 24/7 without your energy, which is cool. So your website sells for you by building trust. So you want to have social proof and testimonials on there. That's why I have testimonials scattered all through this, and social proof, just like how your website should. It should have unique selling points that kind of set you apart from your competition. I hate using that word, but you want to, set yourself apart. You want to have strong, clear headlines showing exactly the locations that you serve. You want to have stunning images, and you want to have clear calls to action that the next step is to go to your contact page. So step 3 is to launch. So once you understand your ideal client, you have a landing page set up just for them. It's set up to convert, and it's time to do your Google ad campaign. This is where you're going to launch that up, and you're going to use headlines and descriptions in that ad that grab attention. So this is how your ad's going to show up on the first page of Google. So, this is when I search for New Hampshire elopement photographer, Vanessa's comes up. So she's got a headline here and then a description here. We also have Karen Castor here. If you search for a Sedona elopement photographer, she's got a couple headlines here and a description here. So this is how it shows up, like right at the top or sometimes under a few search results. It's going to say sponsored, but we have not found that because it says sponsored that people aren't going to click on it. People still click on these ads a lot. And the cool thing is you don't get charged unless somebody actually clicks to your website. So unlike meta ads, where you are paying for people just to see your ad and never take action on it, these Google ads are super cool because you don't pay for impressions. So people can see your name over and over and over again, but until they click on your website, you don't get charged for anything. And that's awesome because, again, your success is dependent on website visitors. So yeah, you're only getting charged if people actually see your website. And then when I Googled Oregon elopement photographer, these guys came up. This is Natasha's ad. I just talked about her move from New York to Washington. And she's able to put photos on hers because once you're running your ad for a while, you can kind of go back and add some photos to it. So an effective Google ad campaign includes a good headline, a short description, and then the right keywords for those people. And the headline's the first thing people see. A lot of times just like shouting out the location and what you serve is the perfect thing to do. And then the description, you can really kind of set yourself apart. And then Vanessa here, we saw her ad. She was able, and she always lets me talk about this. She was able to hit six figures her first year as a New Hampshire elopement photographer. She's able to quit her job, buy her dream car, which was a Toyota 4Runner. She paid off her debt. She got off her depression meds. She planned her dream honeymoon. And then she just sent me this DM the other day that she's now going to be buying a house, her dream house, a little farmhouse on 12 acres. So this is how life-changing Google ads can be. When you finally start showing up on the top of people's search results, it changes everything. So step 4 is refine. So you have your Google ad running and you're going to need to improve it over time and kind of monitor these things. And again, when comparing to like something like meta ads, like this sounds like a lot, but it's not as much as all the different variables that you have to account for in meta ads. So I run a ton of meta ads for my business. You might have come here from a meta ad, but when it comes to things that people are actively searching for, Google ads are the best because they're going to be cheaper because you're not paying for impressions, and it's just easier to manage the things that you need to manage. So you're going to want to improve your cost per click over time. So every time someone clicks onto your website, that could cost $1, $2, $3. There are ways to improve that over time. You want to improve your click-through rate. So that's how many people click on your ad after seeing it. So if headlines and your descriptions kind of suck compared to others, they may not click on your ad and your click-through rate might be low. So that's kind of a sign that you should improve those things or change up some keywords. You also want to figure out, how many people are actually going to your website and inquiring, because if you're not getting about one inquiry for every 100 website visitors, then your website isn't converting appropriately and you need to work on it. You also are going to look at negative keywords. So Google's going to show your ad to keywords outside of some of the things that you tell it to show to, like maybe cheap wedding photographer, and let's say you get a lot of clicks through that and it kind of blows through your budget. You're going to tell Google that you do not want your ad being shown for cheap wedding photographer. And then your budget. So we are seeing the best results at $30 a day, which sounds scary. You can start lower than that and kind of work through things. But once you start booking a lot of stuff, people are like excited to raise that budget and get more inquiries, more bookings, and raise their prices. So we typically see kind of like a 15 times to 25 times return on investment, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. People have things to work on, but you can't get these kinds of returns on investment with anything else, which is why I think it's crazy not to run ads. Because if you're investing in the stock market or you're buying property, all these things to like build wealth and stuff, like you see like minuscule amounts. Like there's nothing out there where you can invest in something and make back 15 times that in a month or two, which is so cool about Google Ads. Um, and yeah, and you'll use numbers and data, which I know a lot of us aren't naturally numbers and data people, but you'll use numbers and data to make sure that these things are working and that your return on investment continues to improve. So step 5 is funnel, and this is where we track your sales funnel. Every business has a sales funnel, and every business has certain conversion rates between each step of the sales funnel that you need to monitor and see where people are dropping off and see what needs to be improved. Because you could be running the greatest Google ads in the world and getting all of the inquiries, but if your sales calls suck, then you're probably not going to get bookings. So we like to monitor all of these things, your website visitor numbers, the number of inquiries you're getting, your sales calls, your bookings, and your average booking price, and make sure that we are improving these things over time. So this is how you're going to spot where your leads are dropping off. Where are you losing people? And what do you need to fix? Is it your sales calls, or is it your website, or is it your pricing? Pricing is normally like the last thing I troubleshoot before I troubleshoot everything else. But normally it can be the website or sales calls. And then you can even reverse engineer your income goals. Like if you're getting a certain number of inquiries and bookings based on this amount of website traffic, you can, say, hey, I'm going to double that and then double your bookings. And you can raise your prices intentionally over time as well. So marketing isn't magic, it's math. It's all a numbers game. This is really what I try to teach people when they ask me if these things are like, is it guaranteed to work or something like that? It's like, well, I mean, it really just comes down to what your numbers say and how you look at those numbers and interpret them and fix things that need to be fixed. And that's really what it comes down to. So your Google ads can be amazing, but they can also magnify problems within your sales funnel, which is still good, because if you're just sitting there not knowing what's going wrong in your sales funnel, you don't have a chance to fix it. So even for the folks where they aren't seeing immediate amazing results and getting that like 20x, return on investment and booking like 30K worth of stuff in a month, like it's going to show you where you need to fix things, where you need to improve in your booking process through data collection, and that is just as important. So if you guys have any questions, I want you to drop them in the chat. I'm going to answer them in the last 15 minutes of the class, but I am going to pitch my program, because sometimes like when you see all of this laid out and the things that you need to manage and interpret and all the numbers and stuff and aspects of it, again, this can be life-changing, but you might want some help. So you can run Google Ads on your own. You can troubleshoot your sales funnel on your own. You can work things out on your own. I've just given you a bunch of foundational things that a lot of people don't teach or a lot of people don't think of. If you want expert eyes on your ad copy and your headlines and your descriptions, if you want help troubleshooting your sales funnel, if you want coaching and support when your cost per click is high and you don't know what to do, or if things are going well and then inquiries are slowing down, then I'd love to invite you into my program, Adventures in Google Ads, because you don't need to figure out all of this on your own. We've already figured it all out and we can just tell you what to do. So Adventures in Google Ads is a fluff-free online course, but really it's also a coaching program because not only do I give you like, videos and worksheets and templates and stuff like that, we also have a whole Slack group and twice monthly coaching calls where we will get on with you and help troubleshoot your ads and your sales funnel. Yeah, so the videos that we have are about understanding your target market, basically what I just went over. Module 1 is all about yeah, you're filling out your target market worksheet, identifying exactly who you're trying to attract with your Google ads. Then we go over all the keyword research and selection and what you need to put in your Google ad. Um, we go over landing pages that convert. Again, like this is your landing page on your website is such an important part of your Google ads working, and your Google ads might magnify problems that need fixed, and we can help you fix those problems. It goes through step by step your Google Ads campaign setup. It helps you with long-term management and optimization. You know, getting that cost per click low, that click-through rate high, that kind of stuff. And then I'm also including these three bonuses because I think these will really help you guys as you're going through all the Google Ads course material and running your Google ad. So Price It Right is my pricing course. It teaches you how to price your packages kind of with a pricing psychology behind it and how to increase your prices over time, because the people that are doing the best with Google ads are charging like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. And the cool thing about Google ads is that you can, because you're getting more inquiries and bookings, you'll be able to raise your prices over time. So Price It Right shows you exactly what you should be charging based on your cost of doing business and how to raise your pricing over time in a way that makes sense to you, makes sense to your couples, and utilizes pricing psychology. My F the Algorithm Instagram course, it was a 3-day challenge. Now it's available to you guys. It basically shows you how to have fun on Instagram in a way that nurtures people without caring about the algorithm. We don't care about the algorithm anymore. We are not content creators, but we can create content on Instagram that becomes more bingeable and evergreen, meaning that people will find your website through Google and then go to your Instagram and be able to scroll through it. So you're no longer worried about the algorithm, but there are things that you can do on Instagram to make, you know, people kind of like fall in love with your personality and your photography and your knowledge. And this teaches you how to do that. And then I'm also including my sales call script. This is mainly for elopement photographers, but can absolutely be used with wedding photographers. And this is how you learn to have a great sales call. You know, that is definitely a learned skill. And if you aren't getting a lot of inquiries and bookings, you probably haven't, you know, perfected it yet because you haven't had that many to do. But even if you do pretty well, this script can help you improve. This script can help you book higher priced packages, connect with people on the call, and sell without feeling salesy is really how it goes. And you get the Slack group. So me and my support coaches, Jessica and Brittany, are in the Slack group. We're here to help you optimize your ads, get the best return on ad spend that you can get. And we also have 2 monthly group coaching calls, like roughly every 2 weeks with Jessica and Brittany, so they can actually look at your ads and see what you need help with in real time and help you troubleshoot stuff. And then we're also rolling out some really fun new features that I'm like super excited about. So the real ad vault, I'm going to be sharing like real headlines and descriptions from campaigns that have been doing awesome. So you can kind of see, you know, what people are doing behind the scenes that are really successful with their Google ads. I'm also doing the funnel diagnostic tool where you're going to track clicks, conversions, your return on ad spend, your whole sales funnel so that you can see where people are dropping off and what the recommendations are to improve those things. So you can continue getting the best return on ad spend you can. And then I'm also working on a chat GPT bot that's going to help optimize your ads. So if you don't want to post in the Slack group or you don't have time for a Zoom call with us live people, you'll just be able to go into your chat bot and be like, here are the problems I'm having, what should I do? And it'll tell you. So that is in the works and will hopefully be done soon. And then I'm also going to have a live workshop series for all the people who are signing up right now. And we're going to go over headlines and descriptions together. We're going to go through cost per click troubleshooting, click-through rate troubleshooting. I mean, these are all things that I cover in the videos, but we're going to workshop these things together and get them improved together during this workshop series. So that's really fun. And I'm really excited about these things. So Just a few more testimonials and social proof. This um, uh, Adventures in Google Ads client moved to Georgia from Colorado and basically had to start her business completely over. And she was getting daily inquiries because of her Google Ads. She booked $20,000 in local weddings in just 4 weeks. So again, these things can happen quick. This this Adventures in Google Ads member made 30K in 2 months just from retainers. And this person went from like literally struggling. She was in my DMs for a while, like, why isn't my business working? And then when she finally took the leap to run Google Ads, she like it just completely changed her life. So yeah, she made 30K in 2 months, and that's in her bank account, not just sales. This person booked another 8-hour elopement after raising her prices. So she booked her highest package ever. Hannah here made $46,000 in her first few months of joining Adventures in Google Ads. Jenny, we met up for drinks and Telluride one day. And she was like telling me like, oh my God, I've done all the education, all the courses out in the world, and like Adventures in Google Ads is the only thing that has gotten me like a huge return on investment. So that really made my day. And Liz was just giving me an update the other day, and she said that she made $120,000 last year. She couldn't have done that without Google Ads. It's the most she's made in her whole life. She's going to make more than that this year in 2025. So even when people are saying that, the market is slow or the economy sucks or whatever it is, like people are still, I mean, I truly believe that people running Google Ads or just that have a huge SEO presence or both are the ones that are just getting all the inquiries and bookings. And if somebody is not showing up on Google, they are, having to rely way too much on hope and luck than makes me comfortable. Um, Ashley booked a Scotland elopement with her Google Ads, and she even just used vacation photos on her landing page. So I love that win. Um, and if you sign up in the next 15 minutes, so I'm going to be answering all your questions in this next 15 minutes, I'm offering $400 off the price of Adventures in Google Ads if you want to join. So, my God. Okay. Okay, so let's go over questions. Let's see. The average photographer takes what? 20 to 30 clients per season. Are people running Google Ads year round? If people book 24 couples within the first few months, then what do they do for the rest of the year? Kat, that's an awesome question because yeah, some people only yeah, they like Vanessa, for instance, who I just talked about, and shut off her depression meds and quit her job and all that kind of stuff. She only ran her Google ads from January to April, and booked out her whole calendar and then turned them off after that, and then turned them back on kind of at the end of the year so she could book out the next year. So some people will turn them on and off depending, like if you're just getting bombarded with inquiries, then that's like either a sign to raise your prices, or yeah, you can, if you're all booked up, then to just turn them off. So you don't necessarily have to run them year round unless that works for you. Some people do just certain locations at certain times. Some people do just certain months out of the year, and then when things drop off and they want more inquiries, they turn them back on. So you have a lot of what's it called? Uh what's the word that I want? Leeway, or you can do a lot. You can like hit them hard in January and February and March and then kind of slow off. But like this year, with all the political turbulence in January and February, a lot of people saw less bookings during those months than normal, but then bookings have really picked up in like April, May, June, and July. So there is definitely can be like a seasonality of things. McKinley, bombarded with inquiries. I wonder what that would be like. That's like a whole new problem set, honestly, that some people struggle with. So like you go from not having any inquiries and bookings, and that sucks, but then you go to having a lot of inquiries that you have to manage and follow up with and do phone calls with. And then if you book a lot of things, then yeah, it's just like um it's a whole other problem, like when you become successful. But if you're not actively like having to manage new problems, you're not leveling up. So, Kat asked about, can you speak a bit about targeting specific destinations? Yes. So essentially and I know you're an elopement photographer, so eloping couples, 95% of the time, they decide to elope and they decide on the location that they want to elope in. So doing everything kind of location specific is really important because people are going to be like Googling Montana elopement photographer. They're not just Googling elopement photographer. They're trying to find a Montana elopement photographer that can help them elope in Glacier or whatever it is. Oops. So, so yeah, so you want everything to be like Montana elopement photographer, Montana elopement photography, best photographers in Montana, how to elope in Montana, that kind of stuff. So those are the types of keywords that you would be putting into your ad to use. And then Google is going to, suggest other keywords as well. So even if you can't think of all the amazing keywords and like, you've done the research, but you think maybe there might be more keywords that could help. Google's gonna share your ad with kind of similar keywords, and you can either like approve those or be like, no, I don't want that ever again. So that's basically how we target specific destinations. And then once they land on your landing page, you will hopefully convert them by being all like Montana this, Montana that. And it does cover keyword research, but for the most part, I just tell you the keywords to use. But yeah, we do cover keyword research as well. And then that also kind of blends well into like, because I want eventually everybody to also be getting organic traffic through SEO and Pinterest. So while you're getting, inquiries and things through Google Ads, you can be working on your SEO strategy. And by seeing what keywords are the most popular, you can then kind of target those organically through SEO as well. So that's kind of the cool thing about Google Ads is that it kind of does the keyword research for you. So you don't have to guess as to what should I focus my SEO efforts on. A lot of times, like the Google Ads kind of give you a lot of insight about that. So it's really cool to start your Google Ads. And then I also go over SEO optimizing your landing page because that should be SEO optimized. And then if you want to SEO optimize things from there, you totally can because you want as much website traffic as possible. What other questions do you guys have? Anything? If I don't have a wedding, if I don't have a wedding photographer specific website, would a landing page work? How many brides would I need? Yes. So yeah, so we do have people who are like, you know, elopement photographers, but they also do boudoir and like don't have like a necessarily a different boudoir website, but have a boudoir landing page, and then you can run an ad to that. So yeah, if you just have a landing page, it could work, but people who want a wedding photographer, they're going to want to look at like a whole page. So they're going to want to land on a landing page and be like, hey, this is, what this is perfect. She's in this location. I'm digging her branding and her photos so far. I'm going to click around to her about page and her portfolio page and her blogs and, her pricing page and stuff like that. So ideally you should have a whole website. And yeah, let's see. How many brides would you need? Let me know. Well, how much money do you want to make from weddings? Let me know that. Kat, how long are the coaching calls for with the AIGA program? So they're each like an hour twice a month, depending, like they'll go longer if more people show up. Lately, like 5 people have been showing up, so it's like very, very intimate. And right now you get lifetime access to everything. So you get lifetime access to not only the videos and any updates and stuff like that, like all these new updates we're doing, everyone who's purchased Adventures in Google Ads in the past is also going to get all those new updates. So things change all the time. We've already had to update our like how to start the Google ad campaign video a few times. I'm going to be uploading a new one soon. Um, so you get access to everything, including the coaching calls, including the Slack group forever. We might change that in the future, but for right now, everything is just lifetime. And because we just want you to like, whether you start running ads right now or 6 months from now or whatever, like I just want to be able to help you do it the best way possible so that you're not one of those people who's like, I tried Google Ads and they didn't work. Like, I want you to do Google Ads and have it change your life. And a lot of times the homepage is just fine. So, and we go over that in to in the lesson. Yeah. So the landing page, like a lot of times your homepage is just fine. When you might need different landing pages is if you are targeting different ideal clients, you know? So like for me, I work all over the place. Like I'm based in Taos, New Mexico, but we do a lot in different national parks in Utah and Colorado and stuff like that. So I have like specific landing pages for all the different destinations. And then my homepage is like, hey, we work in all of these different places. Because what I found works best is if somebody is Googling Colorado, they don't care about my really cool photography in Utah or Arizona. They want to see mountains, you know? So my landing page is going to be all mountains for them. Um, and and yeah, so if you're building landing pages for different niches, then yeah, you can run like a niche specific ad like headshots, branding or whatever to your niche specific landing page. Same with like newborn stuff like that. And then your homepage could be like, I do all of these niches. So when people say like you need to identify a niche in photography and stick with it, it's really just about the marketing. You know, like the marketing has to be specific, but you can still do as many niches as you want. You just have to market specifically to each one. And Kelly, how many brides would you need? Oh, to build the website. So I normally say three or more, because I have found that if you just have one couple or two couples, that's very easy for somebody to be like, I just see two different couples here. Like that's not that doesn't build trust, you know? But if you have three and it's like, you know, close-ups, details, far away, you know, kissing, different locations, stuff like that, then people don't notice as much that it's only three, you know, and you can still build trust that way. So that's a lot of times what I recommend people do when they're trying to target like a new niche or destination, like for elopements, if you mainly do Colorado, but you want to do Hawaii, like you probably need at least three styled shoots in Hawaii to really truly target that location and make money. And that's really like what my whole thing is. Like, I want people to book things and make money. So everything I always recommend is like, this is what we've seen works. And I'm not going to recommend anything that like maybe works sometimes. Like, because again, I don't want to rely on like hope or luck or anything like that. I feel like a lot of people think that's what bookings are all about, is about lucking out. And that's not what we do around here. We do things based on numbers, based on proven results, based on data, like what we see working over and over and over again, you know, consistently. So if you can get more than three, that's awesome, but you can start with just three, is my long-winded answer to that. Cool. Anybody have, what other questions do you guys have? Throw them at me. You're welcome. Oh, Joss said, if you're not an elopement photographer, can you sign in? I mean, yeah, so if you are a wedding photographer, then that is awesome. Because wedding photographers do really well. I focus mostly on elopements, and I built all of this for elopements, but we've been seeing wedding photographers do amazing with Google Ads, and lots of amazing stuff going on with like what's her face? Um, the one lady who just moved to Georgia and booked like 20K. Those are all weddings, so it does really, really well for wedding photography. Oh, yeah, Kat does both. Yeah, so that's a great example of how you would run two different ads. You would run a wedding ad to a wedding landing page, and you'd run like a Glacier National Park elopement ad to a Glacier National Park elopement landing page. And then your homepage and stuff could be like, wedding and elopement photographer, and it can combine kind of both of those target markets, but your ads should be separate. And then you can also do like different ad budgets, or like have one on if you're like, man, I really want to do more elopements, or like, man, I really need more weddings. Turn the elopement one off and bump up the ad spend on the wedding one. You can really like titrate it to exactly what you want, which is kind of cool. So yeah. And a lot of times I recommend doing like one ad first so that you can get used to it and troubleshoot that, and then start a second ad. And just so that you're not trying to like troubleshoot two at the same time. But people have also done that and been fine and done great. So it's if you feel like you can do both. Cool, guys. Give me more questions. Ooh, we've had a couple of people sign up. I'm so excited. Excited for you guys. What else? What else? I can go back. What are some of Jason's numbers? Oh, you have a campaign going. Can't get back. There it goes. The program lasts forever. So when you join, you are in it forever. Juliana, yay, Google Ads changed the game. I love that. And yeah, so the program, like you do the videos on your own and then like come to us for support and stuff like that. The live workshops are just going to be like over the next month or two, and then they'll kind of phase out. But let's see. But you get lifetime access to everything. So it's not like you sign up and then you have to do everything right now. You could even sign up and do things later. Let's see. Let's see. 27 clicks, $87. Um, so McKinley, how many total clicks have you gotten? Have you not gotten any inquiries at all? Brianna, she's a current. Oh yeah, when will those new tools be launching? I will be sending out a email to all of you guys with the schedule, because we are kind of like releasing them not all at once. It's kind of going to be like a little drip. So I'll send you guys out the
Yes.
schedule.
It's called and
Uh, but yeah, it's going to be over the next few months. And then McKinley, how many total clicks have you gotten on your ad since you started it? Oh yeah, here's I think it's this. Oh, there we go. My husband just put in there. All time, let's see. Okay, there's some, so wait, did you say how many you got? Like, because I see the keywords. But I want to know the total, because you should be getting one inquiry for every 100 clicks that you get on your ad. And if you have, so yeah, I think some people, they turn it on, they do a really low budget, they're getting like maybe 100 clicks a month, maybe 150, and that's not enough to really get a ton of inquiries. Because you should get one inquiry per 100 clicks. And that's if your website is converting really well. So if you're getting like hundreds of clicks to your website, um, and you're not getting any inquiries, and that's a sign to me that the website is the problem. But I would also want to get rid of some of these just like wedding photographer keywords, because that could be showing to people, you know, like in different states. Like you could be busting your budget out of people who aren't even your ideal people. And then what are you hesitant about? Running ads or oh no, I'm cutting out, dang it. What are you hesitant about? Where are you? Oh yeah. So, but how many clicks have you gotten total? The sign up offer is good until was basically good for those 15 minutes that I had up, and but mainly once I turn off the Zoom and leave. And then it goes up to the normal price, which is 19.97, which is still available. Yeah. So yeah, and I think so I that's a big thing for people where it's like I can't afford ads, but then you also can't afford not to run ads because like how else are you going to get inquiries and bookings? You know what I mean? Like it's just hard. It's hard to like it's a yeah, it's a catch 22. And and sometimes when people are, spending like low budgets, like you're just kind of like sprinkling yourself out there, but it's not enough to really see a return. So a lot of my clients that are getting like $20,000, $30,000 booking months, that might have been after a few months of troubleshooting and perfecting and working on their cost per click and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of them end up spending $30 a day. So $30 a day is what we're seeing right now is like getting the biggest results for people. It's almost like there seems to be like this little, like if you're doing like 15 bucks a day or something, um, and it like it's almost like you don't and you double your budget per day, it's almost like you see way more results than just double the results for some reason. Like if there seems to be like this magic cutoff with like 30 bucks a day. So but really what it comes down to, because everyone's cost per click is going to be different and stuff like that, is like how many website visitors do you need to consistently book like one, two, three people a month? And so that could be different for everybody. Like some people need a lot more website traffic than others. Um, and yeah, oh, Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. Yeah, and if you have a really low budget and you're using really broad keywords, then it's probably not going to work. And that's when you're just kind of like sprinkling things out there, and like the magic results aren't going to come. Whereas the magic results tend to come with like hundreds of website visitors a month, because then you're getting multiple inquiries. And again, when in that first 3-month window, it can be really challenging because you might be getting price haggers, you might be getting non-ideal people, you might be learning that your website needs some updates to make it convert better. You might need to work on your sales call and stuff like that. um, oh, and you listen to my podcast? Oh, thanks, McKinley. But yeah, so it can be like those first 3 months are hard. on us as coaches, because we have to walk you through all that stuff, and then on the people too, because you are paying money for something. You might not be seeing that huge return right away, but there's just tweaks that we have to make, and then it will come if you stick with us, like the results will come because again, it's not magic. It's math, it's numbers. And so we need those numbers and able to troubleshoot. So sometimes you're paying to get the magnifying glass up to what is not working. Like and then we fix those things. And so sometimes people, oh, I that was updated. Is that on? Huh, that's weird. Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes you need the magnifying glass up there so that you can see what's going wrong, so you can troubleshoot it. Because if you're not getting any traffic and you're not getting any inquiries or anything, you would never know that your website was the problem and that you need to update it. So that's really kind of the cool thing too about Google Ads. Even when they don't work right away, it can help you fix the cracks and foundations or cracks and foundation of your business as well. So ideally, the folks that are going to have the biggest success is what's it called? The ones that have kind of like, okay, I've gotten inquiries, I've gotten bookings, I'm happy with my pricing. I just want to put fuel on the fire. Those times are a lot of times the people who have like really instant success, who have been getting some bookings and stuff like that. But but yeah, so the people that have been really on the struggle bus for a long time, sometimes there's more troubleshooting that needs to be done before that fuel really like lights up the fire. And yeah, that's supposed to say 1997 on there. So yeah, and you guys got the $400 off at 1597. So cool. Okay. Anyone else have any other questions? Anybody? You're very welcome. Cool. I'm very thankful for everybody that showed up today. Thanks for listening to my word vomit and for the thing going a little long. I wanted it to be an hour, but I wanted to talk with everybody. Yeah, McKinley, feel free to like DM me or something like that if you want to talk things out. But yeah, I will be welcoming several of you into Adventures in Google Ads. I'm super excited. And yeah, and this will be life-changing. So I'm really excited you guys are going to be doing Google Ads. And thank you for coming. And I will send out the replay tomorrow. Sorry that I was cutting in and out. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.